I've just spent the last several days stripping, cleaning and repainting my whole bouldering wall. I've wanted for quite a while to try some different strategies for the setting of my wall, and in this episode I'm going to take you through what those strategies are, and I'm going to try and ask the question, is it actually worth it? Will it really make the difference for getting to my climbing goals? Through a good part of the spring, I've been trying a sport climbing project, a hard 9A, or at least it's hard for me. It's kind of a bit of a lifetime goal, really. I'm expecting it to be a multi-year goal to even try it, and the possibility of success is totally uncertain. However, through the winter and the spring, I've made a lot of progress on it, to the point where a couple of weeks ago, in the last of the cool spring conditions, I made a really good link climbing from 5 moves up the route, almost to the very end, right through all the crux. And so that was the first time I thought, wow, this is actually possible. So now that I've got to that stage, unfortunately, I can't really just keep going, because it's the middle of May and the spring cool conditions have really finished for the year. So my plan is to come back and start trying the route again in about the last week in August, the start of September, so that I'm familiar with it and I'm ready for the cool conditions of the autumn. Even that's kind of risky in Scotland. It could be a super wet autumn and the route may well get wet, but such is the risk of trying hard projects. And so I have about 3.5 months or so to do that preparation. And a lot of it is going to be spent in here. So obviously, if my board is a board is a tool for training, and if that tool is optimized as well as possible, that should give me the best possible chance. So my goals for this refresh and repaint of my board are twofold, really. One is just the look of it. That might sound really silly to some people, and for sure you can train in the dingiest, dirtiest board with the crappiest holds and get on just fine. I am not saying that it's essential to have a nicely painted, lovely board like this. However, if somewhere is a nice environment to spend, you're more likely to spend that extra half an hour. You're more likely to get your session done on those evenings where you just don't feel like training. So we'll see if that makes a bit of a difference. And anyway, even if none of that applies, it's still nicer just to make the environment you're going to be spending a lot of time in as nice as you can. So since I was going to strip the board anyway, I thought I would give it a paint. So that's the first goal. The more important goal is resetting the board. Now, in the past, I've set my board in a kind of a formulaic way, but very loosely formulaic. So I have circuits going around the outside of the 45 board here, and also on the 15-degree board, that do different things, that have different intensities. And I do reset them from time to time. However, the nature of boards, doing all the setting yourself, it is easier if they're left up for a while. So it's good if they climb as nicely as possible. And over the years of having a board, I've learned a few things. And one of the most important things I've learned is that my skin doesn't tolerate a lot of endurance training on resin holds in warm conditions over the summer. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in the hottest months of the year this year. So I'm going to experiment with doing some more wood circuits. I'm also going to use some more wooden holds for general bouldering, general hard bouldering. I've relied a lot on resin holds in the past, partly because I've been gifted some holds from various people, and also some cast-offs from climbing walls and things. And they've been great, and I've used them loads. But I have splashed out on a few new holds. And of course, your training is an ongoing experiment. You're always learning new things about your weaknesses, and those weaknesses are shifting and changing as you go through your weeks, months and seasons of training. And one thing I've been more aware of in the past year is that my pure pin strength seems to be letting me down a little bit. And so I've opted for more wooden pinches that I'll set on this board and see if I can improve that pin strength a little bit. And finally, I just wanted to get rid of all the standard benchmark problems, bar one, that were on my board. I've used those benchmark problems that I know well and I've left up on my board for quite some time, for a couple of reasons. One is part of a warm-up process, because one of the tasks of periodization is to set the intensity of your sessions. However, you've got to balance that against your energy levels on a given day, and that can be a little bit unpredictable. And so what you do in your warm-up can serve as a good indicator of your state of recovery. And so your warm-up problems, if you know them well, you know exactly how that problem should feel. And so that can be quite a useful tool. However, you don't really need to do it on a boulder problem, and you can quite quickly get the same on a new boulder problem. So you're kind of balancing it against established claims that you can use as a tool to gauge your recovery state versus the staleness you have from climbing the same problems over and over again. And so I felt that after a few years it was time to get rid of all the established things on our board and start from scratch and just have a complete refresh. So I've just been setting the board for quite a few days. I've set a handful of straight ups and a bunch of coloured circuits. The last time I set my board, I'm always more focused on the 45 board because that's where I spend most of my time. And I set it with holes randomly coloured, so just according to where they felt nice to be on the board. With some coloured circuits, of the handful of endurance circuits I did have on my board, I felt that I was getting a little bit stale on them, maybe just not enough of them really, to have good variety and keep both the interest and the varied stimulus for the body. So I wanted to set more circuits, and so I also had a thought that I could start to use my coloured holes for the circuits more and get some wooden holes for hard bouldering, but also for endurance circuits too. And I could have made them myself. I mean, I made a vlog about this already, and so I can make wooden holes and I can make them to a reasonable standard, although of course I'm not professional at it. So in this case I decided to get some people who are professionals. So I went ahead and ordered a full board set from Beastmaker. I used their fingerboards for many years. I've never really used their holes before, although I know that an increasing number of commercial walls and also private walls have their actual board holes. So I went ahead and ordered a set and they've just arrived. I'm just going to take a look at them. Let's see. Ah, that's good. I love that. Nice touch, guys. Well done. Brilliant. Well, straight out of the box, they look fantastic already. So my plan for these, I gave them specific instructions, and I said that my goal was to do one medium circuit of around 30 moves or so on my 45 board, one easy-ish circuit on my 15-degree board of around the same length, and then a bunch of varied boulder problems that I can set on the 45. So what I'm expecting here is quite a lot of holes that are on the good side, quite positive, or at least big, and then a handful of smaller ones. Yeah, just a good variety, and also some footholds as well. So the next thing is to get them all out and look at them and decide how I'm going to manage them. Now they've boxed them according to the circuits that I've asked for. So what I might do is lay them out separately as they've boxed them, and then see if that works and go from there with the setting. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Here we go. Brilliant. That's so class. Yeah, I guess that's a lesson in sometimes it's a good idea to get the professionals to do a good job. Okay, so after quite a few days of hard graft, I have basically finished the reset of my board. It's looking great. I'm totally excited to get on it. So as you can see, I've got a mix of resin holes that are mainly on circuits, either going in a figure of 8 across the board or just round the outside in different directions, and also different intensities. And in the middle, but also around the outside, I've also put on most of my Beastmaker holes, and I've also put some more on the 15-degree board behind me. Now I've literally just put down the impact driver and finished the actual setting. I've not put my rock shoes on and tested any of this stuff, so The job is still far from finished. The next stage is to test the circuits and problems that I've set so far, and see how they climb, see if they're the right intensity, see if they have any super hard moves that are just too hard or too easy, and just make sure that they're just right. And usually there'll be a fair bit of tweaking. I mean, I've been setting for a long time, and so generally I can set, like if I set a 30 move circuit, I might only need to tweak 1 or 2 footholds or turn 1 handhold or something like that. Sometimes you get it absolutely right first time and it's perfect. Sometimes there's a fair bit of tweaking involved. I also have a couple more batches of holds coming, just small amounts, enough for 2 more circuits on this board, some grey and some pink holds. So I've also left some space. I've even left a handful of the Beastmaker holds until I set those other resin circuits, and then once I get them and have them set, I'll maybe fill the remaining gaps on the board. And also as I start to test out the Beastmaker problems and holds, I might start to identify like an area of the board where it's like, well, I need a left facing pinch about there somewhere or whatever. So just ironing out all the problems and getting it perfected. I usually find that that's the process for the setting, is that you get all the holds on, it's probably 75% as you want it, and then there's another few days of tweaking as you start to do some sessions and work out how it all works. So thank goodness it's now reached the stage where I can put my rock shoes on and test some of these things.